Welcome to Plan, Migrate, Win, your guide to a fast, stable, and smooth cloud adoption. My name is Kevin Downs, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about why it's important to create a baseline of your applications in the planning phase of your cloud adoption. And then we'll give you a quick view of how you can create a baseline in New Relic. As we know, cloud migrations can take many forms. Some companies choose to port their applications directly from their data center to the cloud. This is called a lift and shift migration, or as I like to call it, lift and polish, where you make a little more cloud friendly. Other companies focus on completely re-architecting their applications to take advantage of the benefits available only in the cloud. No matter your approach, there are three primary questions you're going to want to answer after migration. Has my application become slower? Is my application less stable than before? Am I losing customers due to either of the previous two questions? Setting a baseline is how you'll be able to answer these questions. A baseline is the measurement of the current performance and availability of your applications and systems. When you establish your baseline, you can then use it as a comparison after your migration to identify performance issues, maintain scalability, and validate your business case. Another benefit of creating a baseline is that you can also use it as a checkpoint during your migration at various milestones to make sure you're on track. The first thing you need to do is identify components and determine their compatibility with what's available in the cloud. So you can see if your application relies on any operating systems or application languages that aren't supported in the cloud before moving them. Next, start gathering metrics. To do so, you'll deploy monitoring tools that capture metrics at the application level, as well as a database, website, any underlying server and infrastructure level, and any dependency services, such as messaging queue. Some recommended metrics you might look at include response time, time taken to respond to a request, throughput, number of requests that came through an application, requesting queuing, duration of time taken for a request to reach your application, database call duration, duration of time taken to complete a database call, DB call counts, number of calls made by an application code to the database, error rate, percentage of errors reported, disk, memory, and CPU performance. Use these metrics to architect your cloud environment. AppDex score, an industry standard to measure user satisfaction with the response time of web applications and services. DNS setup timing, the time it takes to connect and receive data from DNS. And SSL setup timing, the time it takes to establish an SSL connection. Now, these are just to name a few. You may also want to look at custom metrics that you and your team rely on to make decisions for your business. Remember, your goal is to establish what your current state is, be it a normal day or one of your busiest. You should have a complete picture of the health of your applications and systems before any move to the cloud. As a last step, you want to set up a dashboard with your baselines. Let's walk through this final step with an example of a baseline I've created for a website migration. So we're in the New Relic dashboard, and I'm looking at synthetics. You can see synthetics is selected at the top. This is a monitor that I've already established, monitoring a website that's on-prem. You can see some of the metrics, load time, availability, as well as some slow results time down the bottom. What we want to do is take a few of these metrics and put it in a dashboard. So let's move over to Insights. In Insights, you can see that I have a few favorites already set up for ease of use. Let's go through this and add availability. So the first metric is availability, and I'm going to add it to a dashboard I'm going to create. Let's call this chart availability. And let's create a new dashboard. Let's call this on-prem. We'll use that later. That's it. I've just added one widget to my dashboard for on-prem. Let's bring up the next metric. Let's look at slow load times. Now this one comes up a little differently at the start. We may want to change the visibility. We can go to a pie chart. In this case, I'm going to go to a bar chart. Now I know the slow load times for this website. Let's add it to a dashboard. Let's call it load times. And we're going to add it to an existing dashboard I just created called on-prem. Let's add that, and we're done. That's 2 out of 3. Let's add the last one. Let's add AppDex. Very simple. AppDex is the satisfaction score. Let's add that to that same dashboard. Let's call this one AppDex and add it to the same on-prem dashboard. That's it. Now to go look at that dashboard, I'm going to go over here to all dashboards and just look at mine and pull up my on-prem dashboard, which, if I can find it, is somewhere around here. Here's on-prem. And that's it. It's very easy to set up and configure. And now that I've established a baseline for AppDex, we can migrate this application and I'll run the exact same baseline for the cloud-based application. Now that you've captured your baselines, you have a measuring stick to compare against throughout your cloud adoption. You'll also refer to these baselines for the final step in the cloud migration. That's called acceptance testing. And it's where you compare both these baselines and new ones you establish after you've migrated your application. Thanks for watching this episode of Plan, Migrate, Win. And if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button below and subscribe to get all the latest episodes right when they come out. For more details and examples on how to leverage New Relic during the different stages of your cloud adoption, check out the additional links in the description below.